Revolutionary greetings, man. It's Haki Kweli Shakur, the Cedar, Gabriel Prosser, man. Chilling out here on a nice, cool day, man. Thought I'd come outside and chill with nature to drop this video that I want to touch on, man. Cause see, yeah, first let me give thanks to my ancestors, man, and give thanks to the Creator as always, Olodumare, and all the ancestral energies and all the nature energies of the reaches in the nether room, man. Since I'm sitting outside chilling, but let me say this, man. I get a lot of questions from a lot of people on Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. I mean, all my social media accounts, man. And it be crazy topics and crazy beliefs that cats be asking me about, as far as these deities, man. And I'm speaking about the deities of the ancient world, man. And the deities are like the most modern times, and you're like late BC and your AD eras, man. So I just want to make this video real fast and touch on the topic of African deities being the origin of all deities, man, which is a fact. This is where all your deities come from, man. I don't care what culture it is. It can be your Asian cultures, your Arabian cultures, your Native Indian cultures, indigenous people cultures. I mean, even European deities, especially European deities, because we all know, well, the ones who might not know, yes, all European deities, man, they come from African deities, man. And you can see the patterns throughout the years, man. And all you have to do is just go back into the cultures of Africa and the indigenous African spiritual systems, from the Kemetic peoples, the Kushite peoples, your Punt peoples, your Phoenician peoples, your Central Africa Twa people and Bantu peoples, your South African peoples, as far as the Zulus and the ancient Manzansis, man. Like throughout history, you can see where all these deities, and even the Dogon or West Africa, can't forget about West Africa deities, man. Especially in the Dogon and the Yoruba people's traditions, man. Like all these deities, man, are basically the same deities. You see what I'm saying? Just been, recreated, reformed, and added like little different attributes to them, like from other cultures. I'm talking about as far as foreign cultures that's outside of Africa. Like they took these deities, all these deities and these gods, and even to the prophets of the Bible and the Quran and all these places, man. Your comic heroes from comic books and all these movies, man. All those characters are nothing but African indigenous deities recreated and reformed into what they wanted to create for their cultures and their peoples, man. And for this entertainment business and even your religious doctrines, you know what I mean? Like the prophets, all of them, all the people are nothing but common copies, concepted from the original African deities of the ancient peoples and indigenous peoples of Africa, man. Specifically your Kushites, like I said, and all your people from the ancient South Africa and Central Africa, man. Like, let me start off with this, like the Kemetic nether rule. The nether rules are deities that were concepted by the Kemetic Africans. These nether rules are nothing but aspects of nature, aspects of spiritual energies, cosmic energies of the universe. And these deities, the nether rules, gods and goddesses, your nether and your netert, the feminine and masculine deities, man, they're nothing but scientific, spiritual, cosmic consciousness, man. That's what they are, man. Like all these nether rules, gods and goddesses and deities are a part of aspects of your consciousness, man. And also their representation and metaphoric deities that represent actual science that's going on in the cosmos and physically on Earth. That's what the nether rules are. And that's what makes That what makes the nether rules and the Kemetic Egyptian gods and goddesses and all the other indigenous gods and goddesses across Africa so you know what I mean, prevalent and so deep and so proper if you can get the understanding of it and get the precise meaning behind these deities and these symbols of the indigenous people of Kemetic people of Egyptians, man. Like they started this, you know what I mean. This is where it started at. As far as your first concept of deities, man, that were created and put out there to the world. Um, I'm gonna start off with this, man. Like the nether rules of Kemet can go all the way back to ancient South Africa, man. These are where your first signs of deities, man. Like the Manzanses, man, of South Africa. You can go there in deep South Africa, and you will see nether rules and symbolisms of Egypt in South Africa before Egypt was developed into the powerful civilization that we know of today. You see what I'm saying? You can go there, you can see it. You can see Horus, aka Heru, sitting down there, statue of rock in South Africa. You can see the Ankh symbol. I mean, all this is prevalent in South Africa. And then when you move up into Central Africa to the Bantu people and the Twa people, the Pygmies, you will see the same deities and gods like the god Bes, the god Ptah, all just every type of symbolism that you see in the Kemetic nether rule you will find in these areas as they move up the Nile River into Ethiopia and the Kushites and all these type of people. But let me get to this, man. Like all your European Greek gods, man, all these gods are nothing but copycats of the nether rules and the Orishas of West Africa, man. Period. I don't care what deity it is, man. You can go down a list of every deity that's in the Greek mythology system. You will see that that deity is a common copy of a goddess or a god that came out of Kemet and out of West Africa in your Yoruba systems, man. It's there. I don't care from Zeus. I mean, all these type of gods, man, are nothing but common copies. Even in the Hindus mythology, the Arabia mythologies, your Phoenician, which is African mythologies, man, you have the same deities, man, in the same places in different periods of history. Now, let me get to this prophet. You know what I mean? These prophets. Like, I'm going to just use one prophet as an example, man, which is your Jesus Christ cat. The Jesus Christ cat is something that our people fail to realize, man. Jesus Christ is a European deity, man. And he was a European deity that was created by the Greeks and the Roman Empire. They needed a prophet and a deity of their own to worship. This is the thing that y'all don't get, man. Like, the Jesus cat is nothing but a concepted cat that originates from Heru and Asar. This is where your first traces of the Jesus cat comes from. This is the origin. Asar, aka Osiris, and Heru, aka Horus. Now, I'm gonna show you how it went down into the Greek deities is where you see your full formation and your full copycat of this cat, where this cat Jesus originates from, man. And as you go down into the Greek deity gods, you will notice there's a god named Zeus. And the god Zeus is nothing but a copycat of Asar, aka Osiris. And also, he's a copycat of Shango out of your Yoruba, Ifa mythology, spirituality systems, man. So, this is what the European did. Zeus If you look at the spelling of the name Zeus, which is Zeus, which comes from the Greek Latin, where it transformed to the Greek, because Greek is your origin of the Latin language. So when it got to the Latin language, the spelling changed to Ieous, Jesus. And let me say that again, Ieous, Jesus. And if you take the I and the E and all that off it, well, don't take the E off, you leave the E on, and just add the letter J, because the letter J is nothing but a English letter that didn't appear until the 17th century. You know what I mean? That's fairly recent. So that lets you know that this is a European deity, man. It's not an African black deity we're dealing with. And all he did was, when it got to the English alphabets in the English language, they transformed that into what you have as Jesus, which derives from Ieous, the Latin term, and that Latin term comes from Zeus, Zeus. This is where Jesus comes from. So his origin, let me say this, the origin and concept to where he derives from is African, yes, because he's concepted off of Hasar, aka Osiris, Heru, aka Horus. So yes, he tracks back to that, but he's a European deity. Why? Because he's nothing but a manifestation of Serapis Christos and Zeus. Because if you take the Zeus name and how I just showed you how you transformed it into the word Jesus, then you take Serapis Christos, take the last part of Christos' name, which is Christ. Jesus Christ. This is where Jesus, the deity, comes from. See, I'm not going to get into the debate of whether he was real or not. I'm going to let you decide that. Because to me, he's not real. He's a European deity, which is totally different from the cat, which is Yahshua, that all these Hebrews and all these mythical cats want to say existed. They wanted to say that Yahshua existed too, but I'm going to leave that up to y'all also, because Yahshua is nothing but a Habiru people's deity. Still coming from a pale background, which is your pale European Arabs that came down out of Europe, out of the Caucasus Mountain. This is where Yahshua comes from, with the Hebrew language, which has nothing to do with Jesus. So it's two different deities with the same similar attributes and story, and so-called labeled a prophet. But they both backgrounds are both in Eurasian origin. You see what I'm saying? So the Yahshua cat has nothing to do with the Jesus cat. The Jesus cat is a European deity. The Yahshua cat is your pale Arab Habiru people's deity. Plain and simple, man. And all these cats ain't do nothing but take that from your original indigenous African deities, man. Hey, Ru, look it up. You know what I mean? He's the original. You know what I mean? The same storyline, the same attributes. And you will see where you can research that and trace this all the way down the line. Like all your goddesses, man, your Kali Mas, your Yemiyas, I mean, all, your goddess Alat, you know what I mean? As far as the Arabia people, your goddess Allah, that's from one of the West African spiritual systems that's out in West Africa. All these goddesses, man, are nothing but goddesses that manifested from Aset, man. Because Aset, aka Isis, is your original African goddess, man, deity, man. And you can go down through the history and see how some of these goddesses, all of them had the same attributes as Aset has. You see what I'm saying? So no matter how much cats want to come with different deities and different gods and different goddesses from other cultures, man, and just know for the fact that these goddesses, like I always say, man, everything has an origin. So don't act like those deities and these prophets just appeared out of nowhere and they was just creations that these people came up with on their own. No, they didn't. They seen ancient cultures and what deities they had in Africa in all these areas and created their own deities out it. Man, we can run through the whole Bible, the whole Quran, and like I said, your comic hero cats, man, you will see every trace of an African deity from West Africa, Yoruba people, the Dogons, the Kemetic people of North Africa, even in Libya. Ancient Libya had goddesses and gods and deities, man, and also the Kushite deities, man. Um, Nubia, your Kushite Nubian deities, all the way down into Punt, Somalia deities and gods and goddesses, and all the way down into Central Africa and South Africa, man. You will see where each deity, each god, each goddesses, how it evolved out of a more older set of gods and deities, man. And in closing, man, these deities and gods, like I said, are nothing but ancestral energies, man, nature energies, man, of your consciousness and your spirit and your physical being, man. And they're all mythical deities. They never walked Earth, but they are representations and manifestations of a indigenous people, which is the black people, the black man, the black women, um, that actually are in existence, which is us. 'Cause all of us are representations of these deities, these gods and goddesses, because all of this is within you and within your consciousness. You see what I'm saying? And also, they're working through nature and they're working through the cosmos. These are energies, man, like spiritual energies, man, spiritual deities, and scientific forces. That's what it boils down to. All these are forces and energies and manifestations of the one creator of the universe and the one creator and creatress that's the origin and the, how can I say it, the origin and the of creation, man, and existence. The creator. Simple as that, man. I can't break it down no better than that, man. Everything is a manifestation of the creator, which I call Olodumare, because I subscribe to the sacred indigenous system of Ifa, man. So it's like you can call it different names, but just know it's a powerful source. It's the source. It's the powerful energy source, the creator of all existence, above and below. You know what I mean? In the physical realm and your spiritual realm, man. That's all that the nether rules are. That's all that the orishas are. That's all that all these deities from your indigenous people and natives in Americas to your Arabian cultures in Arabia, your European cultures in Europe, and your Asian cultures in Asia, man. Your Buddhas, all these, man, all these are nothing but deities that manifested out of your original deities in the African indigenous cultures of Africa. Period, man. And I'm gonna sign off on that note right there, man. Haki Kweli Shakur, man. The seed of Gabriel Prosser, man. Rebuild.